Hello and welcome to the Central Now. I am Lekan Onabanjo. The top stories at this hour. More victims allegedly shot by the army in Zaria during anti-hunger protests uncovered. Businessman Tony Elumelu tasks government to expose those behind the stealing of Nigeria's crude oil. 2 children and 6 adults confirmed dead in Uganda landfill collapse. Details to come your way shortly. We begin with updates on the End Bad Governance protests. As the protest enters day 10, the supposed last day of the demonstrations, some residents of Gaskiya Danmagaji area of Usasa, Zaria in Kaduna State have raised fresh allegations against the Nigerian army. The residents allege that apart from Ismail, whom the Nigerian army confessed to have erroneously killed in Samaru, other persons escaped with their lives after being shot at by soldiers. Among those who made these allegations include a grandmother located at number 88 Ungwan Fatika in Gaskiya Danmagaji area of Zaria. The residents also revealed that there were other persons who lost their lives from gunshot wounds. Earlier, our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu, who is on ground, gave more details to this particular story. We'll bring you more details later on. After a brief hiatus, the End Bad Governance protest in Lagos has ended with organizers citing escalating violence and safety concerns as the primary reasons. On day 10, marking the final day of demonstrations, News Central's Igbalaniyi Omoniyi visited several protest spots in Lagos to gauge public sentiment. Residents and remaining protesters alike shared their views on whether the End Bad Governance movement achieved its intended goals.
Day 10, this is Ojota. We can see very little police presence here, unlike what we've had earlier when the protest started, and nothing is going on here. A few minutes ago, we just got information that this group gathered here at Alausa Ikeja.
The group that is represented here is the Keep Take It Back movement, and then the consensus remains the same. The president had actually addressed the country, but he never addressed the concerns of the protests.
This protest has shown that Nigerians are not coward, and for the first time, we refuse to allow tribalism to divide us.
Why do you need to start doing all those unnecessary expenses at the detriment of the people? No! So we don't care. We want something back.
Okay.
Then Tinubu should make sure he order all the agriculture, those who are farmers, that should bring back the bag of rice to where it was. 20,000 naira. We don't want 40,000. No.
Meanwhile, normal activities have resumed, with a heightened security presence at key intersections across the mainland.
It didn't affect my business. Everybody are working.
While the camp provides a welcome relief for resident and business owners, lingering questions remain about the protest's effectiveness in achieving its goals.
The aim and goals of the protest is partly achieved. It has given a notice to the government that people are angry, and so the government should not be comfortable with what they are doing.
I think that it's not achieved its aim. That's what I think, because they're not taking it very seriously.
You're spending anyhow, and you're telling people to relax. We are planning for you in the future. So the trust is not there, no matter what he says. So the only thing that can calm or can make people relax more is probably fight the security, and there's food.
As Lagos settles back into its routine, the focus transitions from the protest itself to the policy responses that may follow. Will the government address the protesters' demands, or was the protest simply a fleeting moment? Only time will tell.
We reject all IMF policies in Nigeria. Thank you.
Omoniyi.
We also tell you that Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has convened a town hall meeting with various youth groups in the state. News Central's Chizobanyowe reports that the agenda includes demands for the reversal of the fuel subsidy removal, a reduction in high electricity rates, and measures to alleviate the general economic hardships faced in Nigeria. The meeting at the Government House in Little Rayfield, Jos, includes Governor Mutfwang, his deputy, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, top government officials, and representatives from different youth groups across Plateau. Also in attendance are heads of the state security agencies who have been instrumental in supporting the End Bad Governance movement. Further details on this town hall meeting will be provided in our subsequent bulletins. In the meantime, the state governor has further relaxed the curfew previously imposed on the Jos-Bukuru metropolis. The governor, Caleb Mutfwang, had initially set a 24-hour curfew on Sunday in response to violent protests and looting by hoodlums in Jos North local government area. The curfew was later eased to permit some movement, according to a statement from the governor's director of press and public affairs, Gyang Bere. Free movements will now be allowed between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. starting from Saturday. Now, Nigerian businessman Tony Elumelu says the government and security agents in Nigeria should be able to tell Nigerians those benefiting or behind the theft of the country's crude oil, especially using vessels that move through the territorial waters. Elumelu stated this in an interview published by the Financial Times. Elumelu, who dreads oil theft, said the menace contributed to the divestment of international oil companies in Nigeria. He said it discovered firsthand why international oil companies were partly divesting from onshore assets after criminal gangs began stealing crude from its pipelines. 61-year-old founder of Hares Holdings recalled how the previous administration of President Muhammadu Buhari allegedly stopped him from acquiring an oil field. Nigeria's federal government has launched the Rideshare Compressed Natural Gas Conversion Incentive Program with the presidential initiative My CNG app to help drivers convert their vehicles to use compressed natural gas as an alternative to fuel source. The initiative is aimed at also helping citizens have access to affordable transportation as part of the federal government's palliative to reducing the hardship being experienced in the country. Amadine Uyi tells us more.
Despite having one of Africa's largest petroleum reserves, Nigeria has been unable to address issues of fuel shortages for citizens. With long queues becoming irregular in many fuel dispensing stations across the country, the introduction of compressed natural gas as an alternative fuel source by government is seen by many as a solution to this problem.
The rising cost of traditional fuel have posed a significant challenge to both drivers and passengers, often leading to higher fares and reduced access to affordable transportation.
This is a revolution. For us, CNG is not just about lower transportation. It's about Nigeria looking inwards for the first time in a long time to use the resources God has blessed us with. But utilizing our resources by combining it with our most potent resource, which is our human resource.
As the federal government launched the Rideshare Compressed Natural Gas Conversion Incentive Program and the presidential initiative My CNG app, many here in attendance say the initiative will help drivers convert their vehicles to CNG and provide affordable transportation for citizens.
The CNG Conversion Incentive Program, in conjunction with the My CNG app, is a bold response to these challenges by offering 50% discount for rideshare drivers upon sign-up and rescheduling through the My CNG app.
As a cheaper and cleaner alternative to petrol and diesel, it embodies our aspirations for a country that is committed both to the much talked about energy transition and to the economic well-being of its people.
They say CNG can help provide affordable alternatives and bring an end to current hardship being experienced by Nigerians.
Nigeria's e-hailing market is thriving. Nigeria's CNG sector is here to make the e-hailing sector move faster, to ensure that young people, old people, even medium-aged people can benefit from the government policy of cheaper, safer, more reliable, and cleaner fuel for the transportation sector.
Stakeholders present see the Rideshare compressed natural gas conversion incentive program will help provide flexible and cost-effective mobility solutions to millions of Nigerians, especially youths. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Let's now go on a very short break. News Central now. We'll be back in a bit. Thanks for staying with us. The main opposition, People's Democratic Party, has appointed former Osun State Governor Olagunsoye Oyinlola to lead a 25-member National Reconciliation Committee. The PDP has faced internal strife following its recent presidential primaries won by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. According to a statement from the party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunagba, the decision to form the committee was made by the National Working Committee with approval from the National Executive Committee. The committee's inauguration date will be announced to all relevant parties. We now take you to the east, where Abia State Governor Alex Oti says the former Commissioner for Health, Ngozi Okoronkwo, was not found guilty of financial mismanagement, according to the report submitted by the Investigative Committee. Oti made this known during his monthly media chat at the banquet hall of the Government House in Umuahia. He also directed the Commissioner for Lands and Housing, Chaka Chukwumerije, to resolve the crisis at Unity Estate in Umuahia local government area, South local government area actually, ensuring that allottees do not lose their allocations unjustly. The governor added that while the government is considering future engagements with some attractive institutions, it has not borrowed any money since he assumed office.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Honorable Commissioner for Land and Housing is seated here, and he takes the assignment right away to get into the here and ensure that the right thing is done. We do not tolerate lawlessness, and no one should have the right to go and pull down a building. Even if there is a dispute, there are channels to resolve disputes. People are not allowed to take the law into their hands. Before she resigned, the committee that was set up turned in its report. Going through the report, there was no financial impropriety established, but there were conducts that were not consistent with laid down policies and procedures. And since she offered to resign, the government decided to accept her resignation.
In November 2023, News Central did a report about Aino Ajobo, a community in Ifako-Ijaye local government area of Lagos State, facing an alarming issue of inaccessible roads and open gutters, which had caused immense challenges for residents. The state of the community's road had caused serious injuries and resulted in fatalities. But after News Central's report, the local government authority flagged off the completion of abandoned drainages, and finally, road construction is ongoing. Dashin Usman has more in this package.
Aino Ajobo community is a community that has recently seen some big changes. To understand the changes, let's take you back to November 2023 when we first reported about this small community. When we first visited Aino Ajobo, the residents were desperate for help and their pleas were heart-wrenching. This was the state of the street. There were open abandoned gutters, a dreadful pathway, sharp stones, slippery heights, especially when it rains. Residents were desperately pleading for help, citing concerns about safety as cars were getting damaged, people were getting injured, and tragically, some even lost their lives in those open gutters.
The road has been like that, hoping that one day they will come and do it.
within the environment, other roads have been done. I don't know what is happening. If there is something wrong in Onabanjo, that is what we want to know.
But immediately after our report, the government sprung into action. The gutters were fixed and now roads and street lights are being constructed. We revisited the community and saw the incredible progress.
Everything excites me. You can see the joy in my heart.
While I was moving here, I told God that this road is so bad, and I prayed that God should do the magic.
The upside of the road there is very, very motorable. Nobody is experiencing accident, or there are shocks or things getting, faulted.
The residents are overjoyed and their relief is evident.
I feel very happy because this particular construction that is going on, it's a long-awaiting construction.
Going to almost 20-something years. The road is too bad. I'm happy the way you are doing the road. Everybody is surprised they will do the roads one day.
But this good news may be coming with a price, as residents now face landlords hiking the price of house and shop rents, unbothered about the country's cost of living crisis.
Issue of house rent or no house rent should not be discussed by the tenants. It is an individual differences between the landlord and the tenants. The government has nothing to do about that.
If you should think of the economy, if you increase house unnecessarily, and at the end of the day you are not even able to get anything, what does it profit you?
But despite the attendance challenges, the joy of the people of Onabanjo is still clearly evident as the community's road finally gets the attention it deserves. News Central is honored to have played a part in bringing about this change. Seeing the excitement on the faces of the people of Onabanjo gives us the strength to want to do more. For after so many years of wait, life as they know it will ultimately become normal. Reporting for News Central TV, I'm Darshan Usman.
Thank you so much, Darshan, for that wonderful report. Coming up on the news. 2 children, 6 adults confirmed dead in Uganda landfill collapse. Details of this will come your way in a short while. Do stay with us. The news continues in East Africa, where 8 people, including 2 children, were killed when a landfill in the Ugandan capital, Kampala, collapsed on Saturday. It was reported that some homes, people and animals were engulfed in the landslide at the garbage dump in Kitizi, a district in the north of Kampala, after a heavy rainfall. The Kampala Capital City Authority, which operates the landfill site, said 14 people had been rescued and taken to the hospital. It did not disclose their condition. The KCCA said there was a structural failure in a waste mass that morning, resulting in a collapsed section of the landfill. The head of the city authority, Arias Lukwago, had warned in January that people working and living near the Kitizi landfill were at risk of numerous health hazards due to overflowing waste. Now, Ethiopian Airlines has signed a deal for the design of a new $6 billion airport described as the biggest in Africa. Ethiopian Airlines Chief Executive Mesfin Tasu said the new hub will be able to handle 100 million passengers a year once completed in 5 years. He said Ethiopian Airlines had signed a memorandum of understanding with Dubai-based consulting company DAR to develop the design for the airport, which will have 4 runways. Tasu noted that the airport will be built in Bishoftu, after 40 kilometers southeast of the capital, Addis Ababa, and stretch across 35 square kilometers. In Central Africa, lawyers for 2 individuals on trial for an alleged coup attempt in the DR Congo have requested their provisional release on humanitarian and health grounds. The individuals are Ephraim Mugangu, co-owner of the hotel where some participants in the May 19 event stayed, and Jean-Jacques Wondo, a Congolese-Belgian national. The alleged plot occurred in the early hours of May 19 in the capital, Kinshasa, when armed men attacked the home of the economy minister, Vital Kamerhe, and then moved to the nearby Palais de la Nation, which houses President Felix Tshisekedi's offices. The court is set to rule on the requests on August 16. In the north of the continent, we'll tell you that Derna, a city in eastern Libya, is today a huge open-air construction site where housing, road and bridge projects are progressing so that survivors of the devastating and deadly floods of September 2023 can return to their city. On the night of September 10 to 11, 2023, Storm Daniel hit Libya's east coast, causing flooding amplified by the bursting of 2 dams upstream of Derna, leaving thousands dead and missing and more than 40,000 displaced.
بالنسبة لخصوص وضع مدينة درنا حاليا الآن وخاصة بعد مرور فترة 10 شهور من الفيضان، تطور ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله عليه، توسعة في الطرق، إنشاء كباري، إنشاء مباني، بارك الله في القائمين على هالمشاريع.
ما حصل في مدينة درنا كان كارثة بكل ما تعني الكلمة، يعني بصدق كانت كارثة بما تعني الكلمة، ولكن الحمد لله زي ما قلنا وفضل الله وفضل القيادة قدرت تتغير الحياة وتعود الحياة من جديد.
Still ahead on the news. UK Prime Minister Starmer says authorities on high alert for more far-right rallies. We'll bring you details after this short timeout. Don't go away. And now from other continents, we'll tell you that UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says authorities remain on high alert this weekend amid concerns over potential far-right riots in English towns and cities. Starmer noted that the swift action by the criminal justice system, including judges issuing lengthy sentences to some rioters, has helped deter further violence. His remarks followed 2 nights of relative calm across England after a week of near-nightly unrest in over a dozen towns and cities, triggered by a deadly knife attack that claimed the lives of 3 children. Our international correspondent, Afia Hagen, went round to get more reactions.
It's been scary, it's been infuriating, but I wouldn't say it's surprising. I think we all know that the UK was built on racism, the empire was built on racism, so it's not something that surprises me at all. My circles, I have a lot of black friends, I have a lot of non-white individuals in my circles, so hearing their stories day to day, I know that this is something that they've been facing on the daily. It's just that this has become so big now that white people can't ignore it anymore. And even myself, as an immigrant in this country, I faced xenophobia, I faced the classism, the elitism that the UK operates on, and I've seen it with my own eyes. Obviously not to the same extent, and I could never compare my experience to that of non-white individuals.
A lot of immigration issues, a lot of racism issues, and I needed to see what they were pushing about the people of African descent issues, which is immigration, housing, employment, etc. All those issues, some of them haven't been really covered, but then that's not the issue here. Here was about the demonstrations and bringing it to the forefront and fighting back against the racist demonstrations that have been happening across the UK. But it was also to network with other people like yourself, who are here early on time.
Well, in regards to those riots that have happened in the last 2 weeks, I'm not at all surprised. The only thing that surprised me is that it took so long for it to happen. Because anyone who's studied the history of this country and the modern history of this country would know that this has been under the surface for at least 20 years. It's been bubbling under the surface.
I want to live in a society where people respect each other, where people know about each other's different cultures, and they are excited by that. Excited by all the different languages you can learn, all the different foods you can eat, all the way different ways you can love people. And, I'm an idealist. I have been all my life, and I don't want a situation where people feel marginalised because of the colour of their skin or because of their religion, or I don't want to live in that society.
Away from that, Palestinians rallied in the West Bank city of Ramallah to denounce the Israeli strike that targeted a school housing displaced people in Gaza City, killing at least 93 individuals. Rescuers in Gaza said an Israeli airstrike on a religious school housing displaced Palestinians killed 93 people on Saturday as Israel's military accused militants of basing themselves there. Hamas denounced the dangerous escalation in North Gaza, which came after international mediators invited the warring sides to resume next Thursday talks towards a long-sought ceasefire and hostage release deal. Jordan's foreign ministry said the timing was an indication of Israel's efforts to obstruct and thwart the peace push.
Israel committed this horrible massacre as part of its efforts to conduct terrible genocide against the whole population of Gaza. But Netanyahu has an additional goal, which is to undermine completely any possibility of ceasefire in Gaza and to undermine even the talks that are supposed to start soon about ceasefire.
أنا مش لازم أستغرب نهائيا. الاحتلال ما بده أي مبررات لمجازره. مجزرة اليوم هي واحدة من مئات المجازر اللي ارتكبت تحت مسميات بسميها زي ما بده. في النهاية هذا محتل قاتل مجرم بمارس الإبادة والقتل والذبح بدم بارد.
المجرم في كل هذه الحرب إلى جانب دولة الاحتلال هي الإدارة الأمريكية التي يجب هي الأخرى أن تجر بالسلاسل إلى محكمة العدل الدولية وإلى المحكمة الجنائية.
In South America, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has declared 3 days of national mourning following the crash of a plane in southeastern Brazil late on Friday, which resulted in the death of all 61 people on board. The airline operating the flight Pass confirmed that all 57 passengers and 4 crew members died. The mayor of Vinhedo, a town in Plateau State, where the crash occurred, along with state officials, confirmed that there were no survivors. The aircraft was traveling from Cascavel in Parana to Guarulhos International Airport in Sao Paulo. Brazil's Aeronautical Accidents Prevention and Investigation Center has launched an investigation to determine the cause of the crash. We now tell you that Moscow on Saturday launched a counter-terror operation in 3 border regions adjacent to Ukraine to counter Kiev's largest cross-border offensive in over 2 years. On Tuesday morning, Ukrainian forces crossed into Russia's western Kursk region in a surprise attack, advancing several kilometers. In response, Russia deployed additional troops and equipment, including tanks, rocket launchers, and aviation units, to halt the advance. Under Russian law, security forces and the military are granted extensive emergency powers during such operations. Ukrainian leaders have remained silent on the offensive, and the United States, Kiev's closest ally, was not informed of the plans beforehand. We go on another break on the news. We'll be back with the concluding stories. Don't go away. We talk business now. According to World Bank Group finances, Nigeria's federal government is repaying $10.6 billion in loans obtained under former presidents Olusegun Obasanjo, late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and Goodluck Jonathan. Nigeria's domestic debt has been put at 65.65 trillion naira, while external debt stood at 56.02 trillion naira. Recall that in June 2024, the Debt Management Office said as of March 31, 2024, Nigeria's domestic and external debt stood at 121.67 trillion naira. Price of tomatoes have dropped by 58% in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, for the first time this year, bringing respite to households and reducing pressure on them. A recent market surveyed across Lagos shows that a big basket of tomatoes currently sells for 50,000 naira, as against an average of 120,000 naira some months ago in Mile 12 market in Lagos. A small basket of tomatoes now costs 6,500 naira against 13,000 naira in the period under review. Possibly, this could ease inflation and cost of living issues if it continues and is also experienced across the nation. Let's talk sports now. Ethiopian Tamirat Tola claimed victory in the Olympic men's marathon in Paris on Saturday, clocking an Olympic record time of 2 minutes 06.26 seconds. Tola finished 21 seconds ahead of Belgium's Bashir Abdi, who took silver, improving on his bronze from the Tokyo Games. Kenya's Benson Kipruto, the 2021 Tokyo Marathon champion, secured third place, 13 seconds behind. A back injury forced Kenyan legend Eliud Kipchoge to drop out of the marathon. He managed to cover 31 kilometers before stepping off the course after experiencing further discomfort in his waist. Nikola Jokic led Serbia to a 93-83 victory over Germany, securing the Olympic men's basketball bronze medal on Saturday. Jokic recorded a triple-double with 19 points, 12 rebounds and 11 assists, helping Serbia rebound from their semi-final loss to the United States. The win avenged Serbia's defeat in last year's World Cup final and earned them a consolation prize after Jokic missed the 2023 World Cup, which Germany won. This bronze is Jokic's second Olympic medal, adding to the silver he won at the 2016 Rio Games. Vasilije Micic also scored 19 points, and 6 Serbian players reached double figures. Manchester City emerged champions of the 2024 FA Community Shield, triumphing 7-6 over Manchester United on penalties after regulation time stood at 1-1. This victory ends Manchester City's 3-year losing streak in the curtain-raising fixture, their last win being a 5-4 penalty success over Liverpool in 2019. United's Alejandro Garnacho gave Manchester United the lead in the 82nd minute before Manchester City's Bernardo Silva equalized in the 89th minute. The match went on to penalties for the 4th time in 6 seasons, where Manuel Akanji's successful spot kick following Johnny Evans' miss sealed the victory and earned Pep Guardiola's team their first trophy of the 2024-2025 season. Tottenham Hotspur have secured England striker Dominic CalvertLewin from Bournemouth in a deal potentially worth £65 million. The agreement includes an initial £55 million payment with an additional £10 million in add-ons. This move marks Tottenham's 4th signing of the summer. Manager Ange Postecoglou aims to bolster his attack after Harry Kane's departure to Bayern Munich last year. Liverpool reportedly holds a 20% sell-on clause from any profit made by Bournemouth. We also tell you that as the IHF Women's Under-18 World Cup in China approaches, Nigeria's national Under-18 women's handball team is ready to face the challenge. Head coach Shitu Agbola expressed confidence in his players, citing their impressive track record of securing podium finishes in all 4 tournaments they have competed in. However, Coach Agbola has also voiced concerns about the lack of necessary support for the team. Team captain Esther Matthew echoed the coach's sentiments, emphasizing the need for greater backing to ensure the team's continued success.
I would like to put my words in 3 perspectives. First of all, the support from the Federation. I would really want to thank the Handball Federation. They've done beyond limits. They've exhausted themselves, I know. They've really been on these girls, giving all the support they can. That's on the Handball Federation of Nigeria. Then going to the Ministry of Sports and the government of Nigeria. In all sincerity, the government has not been encouraging. They've not supported these girls in any ramification, I can assure you that one. And in this China too, is the same story.
We have our president, and we are thankful to God for bringing him to us. And we are pleading to Nigerians, the ministry, to also help with financial support. Yeah, we actually, as a team, we don't have corporate wares, we don't have track and all, and we are going for World Championship.
And following Team Nigeria's disappointing performance at the Paris 2024 Olympics, Nigeria's Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, emphasized the importance of drawing lessons from the experience and preparing for the 2028 Games in Los Angeles. He made these remarks during a meeting with journalists at the Nigerian Embassy in France. In response, Nigerian athlete Peter Moreno called for a thorough reform within the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, urging the ministry to remove those who are hindering the progress of the nation's athletics.
And the board member needs to go. From the TD, from the president, all the way down to the AR, all of them, they need to go. We don't need them. We need new people that are actually angry to see Nigeria athletes do better. People that are thriving to make us do better, not the people we have on the board. You know, Nigerian athletics is like politics. When you take over, they suck you into their system and you become like them. Nothing changes. Just like our presidents, nothing changes. We need to get rid of.
And that's all at this hour. But before we go, we look at some of our top stories again. More victims allegedly shot by the army in Zaria during anti-hunger protests have been uncovered. Businessman Tony Elumelu has tasked government to expose those behind the stealing of Nigeria's crude oil. Finally, we told you that 2 children and 6 adults have been confirmed dead in Uganda landfill collapse. You can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekan Onabanjo.